remember the day they laughed at me like it was yesterday. The sun was setting, bathing our dining room in hues of orange and gold, but all I felt was cold. Paranormal pest control? My brother scoffed, his voice dripping with mockery. You're going to disgrace the family, you know that? You're losing your mind. I sat there, the weight of their disbelief pressing down on me like 1,000 bricks. My mother shook her head, her disapproval cutting deeper than a knife. Do you really think you'll ever be taken seriously? She asked, her voice tight with concern. You're obsessed with ghosts and grotesque myths. You're wasting your life. But I could sense something they couldn't, a shift in the air, the way shadows move when they shouldn't. The world was riddled with horrors that they closed their eyes to, and I was determined to unearth them. Years later, as I drove back to the house I once called home, a storm brewed overhead, dark clouds swirling ominously. I could feel the familiar sting of derision in my gut, but this time it was laced with bitterness. I had clawed my way through the muck of ignorance to become a recognized expert in what I called paranormal pest control. I had faced the unimaginable and survived. I was no longer a disgrace, but a warning. They'd come to respect my name, but none could fathom the terror that lay behind it. I was about to confront the very people who had driven me into the depths of my obsession, and the thought made my heart race. Pulling into the driveway, I could see them through the window. My brother, my mother, even my father, who had barely spoken to me since I'd left. They were gathered, heads bent close together, whispering. I could almost hear the words delusional and crazy pass their lips. But I had made a name for myself, and the truth was a dagger I had sharpened over the years. As I stepped inside, the atmosphere shifted. They turned, their faces a mix of shock and disbelief. I was no longer the lost child chasing shadows. I was a vessel of dark knowledge, a bearer of truths that would make them tremble. Look who decided to show up, my brother said, crossing his arms. What, you think you're some kind of expert now? I met his gaze, unflinching. I didn't come here to argue. I came to warn you. About what? My father spat, his voice thick with disdain. You're childish. I reached into my bag, pulling out a small vial filled with a black, viscous substance. This is a containment fluid, I said, my voice steady. Extracted from the very energies I've battled. It acts as a barrier against the infestation I've been tracking, and I need you to believe in this. Believe? My mother laughed, the sound sharp and bitter. You want us to believe your nonsense? You're just trying to scare us. Am I? I shot back, my frustration boiling over. You think my work is a joke? You have no idea what I faced to learn this. Just as the words left my mouth, the lights flickered ominously. Shadows danced along the walls, shifting as if alive, whispering dark secrets. My heart raced, not from fear, but from a deep-rooted anger that finally found its voice. It's not just vermin, I continued, urgency lacing my tone. It's a collective consciousness, a hive that thrives on fear and disbelief. You're not safe here. None of us are. My father stepped forward, disbelief etched into his features. What are you talking about? This is just your imagination running wild. In that moment, the shadows twisted, dark tendrils creeping along the walls like a living nightmare. I could feel the air grow thick, suffocating. My family's laughter turned to gasps as something unseen swept through the room, stirring up a palpable dread. No, my mother screamed, clutching her chest. What is happening? The darkness coalesced into shapes, twisted, grotesque forms that seemed to pulse with life, their eyes glinting with a malevolent intelligence. It was as if every ounce of contempt and ridicule they had hurled at me had manifested, and now They were trapped in a web of their own disbelief. "Believe me now?" I shouted, my voice barely rising above the chaos. My brother stumbled back, terror etched into his face as he realized what I had become, what I had survived. "Please, stop this," he pleaded, the bravado crumbling away, but I could only watch, a cold satisfaction washing over me. This was my truth, my vindication. They had seen the horrors I faced, and now they could no longer deny it. The shadows receded slowly, their malevolence fading, but the terror lingered in my family's eyes. They were witnesses to the very thing they had dismissed, and in that moment I felt a hollow sense of triumph. The darkness had become a part of me, a crown of shadows that marked my journey. I left that house knowing they would never fully understand. But as I stepped back into the storm, I was no longer the child they had ridiculed. I was a survivor, and the world beyond those walls would never be the same again. And though I had found my truth, it came at a cost they would now live with forever.